Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current minister. Tonight he's going to tell us what he's been up to in the past few weeks, whether he's been silenced, what his plans are for the next phase of this administration, and how he's going to make Accra work again. Join us with your comments and your questions on the numbers we'll put on the screen. We'll be right back. So welcome back to the show. Tonight our guest is Henry Quartey. He's the MP for Ayawaso Central. He's the Greater Accra Regional Minister. In the first term of Nana Akufo-Addo, he was the Deputy Minister for Interior, later became a Minister of State at the National Security Ministry. And these days, he runs the Greater Accra Region. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Bernard.
How are you doing?
By the grace of the Almighty God, it's better than good.
I like that. Is it that you've lost a bit of weight or is the shirt?
Oh, well, I have been trying to lose weight.
Okay.
Because hitherto, I used to be a very slim guy.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I used to be very slim and very athletic, actually.
Like this?
Well, a little bit heavier than you.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
So it's not the economy that has reduced your size?
Oh, not at all. It's something that I really want to do, and I'm working hard at it.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's an achievement?
Well, if you say it's an achievement...
Do you know how many pounds or kilograms you've lost?
I think I've done about 10 kilos so far.
Oh, wow. Between the last time I had you, which
Yeah.
was 2022,
Yeah.
10 kilograms?
Yeah, I've lost about 10
Wow.
kilos.
Wow.
But I have the scale in my bathroom. Every morning I check. I
Thank
weigh.
you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Where have you been?
I've been around.
Where?
In Ghana.
In Accra?
In Accra, of course. I traveled briefly, as everybody does.
Oh,
But I've been around.
you traveled briefly?
Yeah, briefly. 2.5 weeks, that's all.
On official assignment?
Oh, no.
Personal?
Visits, you know.
I see.
Uh,
But you've been absent for more than 2.5 weeks?
Indeed, I have been absent for some time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's not just the travel?
Oh, proud to even going on a short holiday. I had gone a little bit on hibernation.
Yeah. I guess this was probably from my... Actually, we've been tracking you.
In Ramsar.
Yeah, we've been tracking you, and I think the last time we heard you properly was around the first week of November.
Is it Ramsar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you went off. So was your disappearance occasioned by the Ramsar issue?
Oh, not at all.
Really?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Because let me just give you a quick trace back. You had said that you were going to remove unlawful people from the Ramsar.
Yeah.
I recall you said this to us. In fact, you gave a notice that all encroachers on Ramsar sites will be dealt with, right? And this was around August, September. And then I think October, there were a couple of announcements and warnings. And in fact, October 19, there was a demolition, which started on a small scale. In fact, let me read that story to refresh our memory. Greater Accra Regional Security Council, RECSEC, has begun a demolition at the Ramsar site in Sakumono. Regional Minister Henry Quartey, who chairs the RECSEC, in an address noted that the aim is to ward off encroachers and prevent any possible flooding in the area. Exercise began in Klagon, with fence walls put up to secure lands removed. Quote, this is to target fence walls which have been erected within the core area. People are building in the water, and men here will, for the next 3 days, bring down all the fence walls in the water, after which buildings that are sited in the water will be marked. He said, the demolition comes off after a series of announcements by government for persons erecting buildings on the site to desist from the act. So this story is October 19. Then 2 weeks later, government suspends demolition of unlawful structures at Asakumo Ramsar site. The government has made a U-turn on the demolition of unlawful erected buildings in the core zone of the Ramsar. Minister RegSec was scheduled to demolish all structures on the site, etc., etc. But after stakeholder engagement, Regional Minister Henry Quartey revealed that the measures have rather been put in place to get the structures regularized. Then we didn't see you again until today.
Well, if I may, first of all, a very good evening to your cherished listeners and viewers. These days, your tentacles spread across the world. And let me use the opportunity also to express on behalf of His Excellency the President, who has given me this reposed trust in me to actually serve the people of this region. And on behalf of RegSec, the Regional Coordinating Council, as I said, to express my profound gratitude and appreciation to all and sundry, both home and abroad, more especially to the media fraternity. Indeed, Henry Quartey couldn't have gotten this far without the close collaboration of the media fraternity, and I owe it to them. Now, come your question. So, proud to the exercise in Ramsar, and before I speak about Ramsar, I think I need to bring some clarity here. There was a miscommunication, and I take the blame, because I think that day when I spoke, the anxiety in the room of the stakeholders' engagement that we had was so much that immediately they heard that, oh, there will be no demolition here, and everybody started clapping. But you see, perhaps they could have waited for me to actually continue the statement, or complete the statement. Now, without necessarily comparing, but it is important, or imperative rather, that we do the comparison. Now, one would ask, I did a similar buildings that were demolished, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of the law that I am proud. Now, let's use this table as a scenario. This whole room that we're sitting in the CSIR measured over 1,300 acres. It was acquired under an executive instrument for the purposes of conducting research and all that by the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, Animal Research. It may interest you to know that over the last 3 decades or so, or 2.5, people have encroached upon all the lands. Let's use this room. Perfect. And so at some stage, the management and staff of CSR, realizing that they were losing all, decided to erect a fence wall, and that's exactly the table we're sitting at. So all these land belonging to them are gone. People have built, and they're actually living there. So they erect a fence wall on a 200 acres of land. Now, guess what is happening? Where you're sitting should be the head office of CSR, and somebody is building a house here within this one. So when they appeared before the RegSec and they made their case, we went there and did a reconnaissance and went through a meticulous process of ensuring that we had exhausted all the processes. The deliberative executive powers. So they have the power to carry out exercises without recourse to the court of competent jurisdiction. They have the powers to do that, but at 936.
Okay.
We followed that meticulously. And so when we went in to do CSIR, I'm just trying to lay a foundation and come to that.
I'm following you.
We were able to remove all those buildings within the 200.
Within the 200 acres?
Yes. What we didn't do is that we didn't go outside the 200 acres, although they have also encroached and built and are living there for over 25 years.
So your view is that was a lost cause. So you just secure what has been fenced and
much.
leave the rest for engagement, or that's beyond you?
No, we made recommendations immediately to the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. But look, again, per the report that we had, well over 4,000 houses had encroached upon that area. And they've been living there, and because they don't have the relevant documents to their properties, the assemblies are not able to collect property rate from them. Currently, the situation that we found ourselves in, between Ramsar and CSIR alone, if I'm not exaggerating, you're looking at close to about 14,000 houses that have not paid property rates for the last 20 years. Imagine how...
14,000 houses between
yes,
the two.
between the two.
Which one is bigger?
Well, it appears that Ramsar will be much bigger than CSIR.
Wow.
So coming to it, when we did the exercise, we had to leave the one outside the 200 acres. Now, we got to Ramsar, and when similar situation, you see, so after in the core area, and then we thought, no. Somebody said, oh, this one belongs to me, and some even said some of the houses. Water.
Wow.
Yes. So quickly I said, look, let's do a good assessment. As a matter of fact, even count all the houses, the uncompleted houses that have been erected in the core area. And then we'll get the experts, the technocrats at the Lands Commission to advise us as whether indeed they fall within the restricted area. Once we have that all clear, we go. Because I didn't want to pull down buildings when I wasn't too sure whether they were in the core area or not. From the layman's point of view, I could say, oh, this one is in the water. But the technocrats can tell me, no, this and that and that. So quickly, I commissioned that. Now come those who have built over the last 20 years or so, and they are completely outside the core area. Though the total acreage represents the site that was acquired for the purposes of Ramsar, but they are built and they are currently not within the core area. So it's almost like CSIR. You cannot go and get a court order to demolish houses that have been there for 25 years. I mean, excuse me, it doesn't work. Because our concentration is to ensure that we are able to preserve and protect what is left against possible flooding in the near future. So quickly we thought that, well, if we are going to commence regularization as ESR, it's a similar situation. So let us now regularize those who are outside the core area. So that was the announcement I made. But I recall that when I made that announcement, I told them that those in the waterway, we are going to do an assessment and come. So it was going to be in phases. First phase is to remove those, the fence walls, assess the buildings in the waterway, look at those that are outside the core area, make recommendations to the Minister for Lands, so that they can commence the processes of regularization.
So you have spoken about the background, the comparison. Maybe the way you speak should be blamed for some of your own problems. Let me give you an example.
That's why I say I take the blame for it.
All encroachers on CSIR lands will be dealt with. My emphasis is all. So if you announce that all, and then you now come and say, well, by the way, there are people who've been there for 20 years. We have a 200-acre space, which is walled. So we'll deal with those within the space. It's like a blowing hot and cold. Again, I'm coming for you, sellers of government lands and Ramsar site occupants. Again, the impression is, once you've, in fact, you did mention waterways for the Ramsar site.
Yes.
So there's a strong view that it's not just the technical distinction between a core area and a non-core area, and that some of the people big man has a land there. So when on November 6th you announced that you were suspending it, it was like, oh, so this guy has been clipped.
Oh, far from that. You see, and that's what I'm saying, I take the blame for it. But I thought that I had engaged the media on numerous occasions. So when we say we're coming to CSR, we are making reference to those who had encroached within the 200-acre perimeter. And I think that, not to be reporters were also, sometimes they get carried away once, because you see, I remember making reference to the 200 acres. I kept talking about it. So my position, we were going to remove those who had encroached upon the 200 acres. Now you see, it's good you've also made the point that with Ramsar, I talked about core area. So clearly, I wasn't making reference to go and demolish homes that have been there for 25 years, and I'm not within the core area. So that's what it is. So yes, after removing the fence wall, and you see, if somebody says that I've been clipped, is with the greatest of respect, is laughable. Because if I tell you the people who were behind the fence walls that we removed, you'll be shocked.
On the Ramsar site?
Oh, yes.
Tell me, who are they?
Oh, well, the accounts will say, hi, quite home. But the walls that we brought down, they were not for small boys. These are big people in society. The calls were coming, and I told the people, go ahead and remove them. And to date, they have understood that, look, they didn't do it right. So I am not looking at it from that angle that because there is a big man's house there or something. But you see, we have to be careful that in the application of ensuring that the right things are done, you don't end up rather compounding matters. You will realize that by the grace of God, ever since I started this exercise, I haven't had any legal issues because I make sure I do broader stakeholder consultations. I consult, I take advice from legal brains before I move in. You see what I mean? So this we have not ended. And let me fast forward. Today, a few hours ago, myself, the Minister for Lands, Trade and Industry, my good brother, MP for Dabongo, Samuel Abujenapo, yes, and his deputy and CEO of Lands Commission, Technical Director of Lands, we today had a meeting with the Traditional Council of the Nungwa area, reference Ramsar. And I don't know whether your reporter has not brought the news yet, but Abujenapo has made a categorical statement today that those in the waterway is non-negotiable. Those buildings in the waterway is non-negotiable. However, per the Act 1036, the Land Act, Abujenapo has been empowered by Mr. President and the committee to look into how government can probably release some lands for either to the allodia owners. And I think they are in the process of doing across the country. Some has been done.
So your colleague minister is And he's insisting that all buildings on waterways will go.
It's non-negotiable.
But you said that before.
But you see, when I said that, I at the stakeholder meeting, I said we have referred the matter to the experts. We are Regional Security Council. The Lands Commission, lands are the experts. They are the technocrats. He is the caretaker minister for government lands on behalf of Mr. President. So they've done their work and they've come out with this strong statement. Now it's incumbent on us, as the Regional Security Council, to now ensure that the process is leading to one, regularization of those who have been there and are not in the core area is done. And then when he says non-negotiable, we'll get there.
So those who are in the core area, who are on waterways, will still go?
He says non-negotiable.
So will you be involved as a RegSec in that? Or this
yes.
is now at a national level?
No, we are involved throughout. We're going to be involved throughout. But we are working hand in hand with the lands minister.
So it suggests that for some things you can't go alone as regional minister?
No, let's get this straight. The Regional Security Council takes charge of security issues in the region. And once we do an assessment and look at the threats and take decisions, we make recommendations to national security or the Minister of Interior or the other bodies. But when we are carrying out instructions, we have the full. It is the RegSec that make recommendations to the Interior Minister for curfews to be imposed.
I see.
Yes.
Let me come to a couple of other things that have stalled. So we were at Demolition. I think I was there last week. Yes, parts of Sodom and Gomorrah has gone. Demolition market itself, the trucks are back. Indeed, we were going towards ICGC from Demolition side. When at the height of your work, that whole road was clear. It will take me like 2 minutes to. The market is not back, but it looks like it's warming up to become busy. I don't know if you've been there recently.
I haven't been there, but there could be one or two explanations to that. As you know, it came to my attention, and I remember at the instance of the Minister of Transport, we engaged the bulk breakers or whatever you call it. And the explanation they gave us was that usually when they offload the yam, they need about 1 week to collect their monies from the yam people. So we said, okay, instead of leaving the vehicles by the flanks, they should go to the Achimota terminal and park the vehicles there so that maybe 1 or 2 vehicles can be there. When they are paid, they can leave. And unfortunately, I think that that advice did not go down well. So I need to get hold of the transport minister again for us to engage the association, and then we can take it from there. There are other issues to it. Because I remember when we actually threatened to remove them. Those days, that was the one when the dollar was rising. And they threatened not to haul yam to Accra again. So you see what I mean? So we needed to balance it. Sometimes some of these things you have to look at it again. They were threatening not to bring yam to Accra. And that was when dollar was around 15 cities and all that. So but now that things have stabilized, that is not to suggest that we should allow them to do the wrongs.
I see.
But I think that we'll get a transport minister, and then we go back to the drawing table and get all of them, after offloading the yam, they go to Achimota terminal and park their trucks there. Like I said, I'm back, and we'll look at these things and address them.
Mr. Henry Quartey is our guest on the point of view. He says he's back. We're trying to understand why some of the projects he started haven't been seen through. He's trying to explain the CSI. People were supposed to have gone. And read some of your questions as well. Stay with us.
Shell, we give you extra so you can go further.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. A unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family because every smile matters. New Pepsodent Herbal. In an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Get 2 months of Showmax for the price of one. It's giving double any day. It's giving celebration and kasa. All that scandal. It's giving the perfect storm. Shishi. More epic thrills and detective vibes. You go feel, sa. It's giving what it's supposed to be giving and overdose. So subscribe now to get 2 months for only 16 Ghana cedis 99 pesos for a limited time. It's giving Showmax.
Welcome back to The Point of View tonight. Our guest is Henry Quartey, Regional Minister, trying to find out where he's been. He says he's been around. We put it to him that after the Ramsar U-turn, he was discouraged and essentially just decided to go quite a waterway and a general encroachment. Same for CSIR. Let me read a couple of questions for him before I come back to our own questions. Long one from Eddie Quino, who's with the... It will be quite interesting to ask Mr. Quartey if, in fact, he was muzzled by his party to stop his drive to sanitize Greater Accra or not. Resigning his post would have been the principal choice to make. His credibility would have been intact. Many people close to him were disappointed. I hope he can salvage some of his reputation. He goes on. Could you kindly ask him his view on the sighting of a cement factory in a residential area in McCarthy Hill and in a Ramsar area, a wetland of all places, next to Pambros, a huge salt production company and foreign exchange earner for the state. So this is Eddie Quino, who's, I think, from the McCarthy Hill Association. So 2 in 1 question. Another one coming in from Albert. Please ask the regional minister what he thinks about the indiscriminate bush burning of refuse at night in various communities in Accra, and the current and ongoing encroachment of the Densu Protectorate behind Dansoman from the Pambro salt factory or salt flat. So two issues related there. I think there's another one that's related. Maybe let me put that one through, then you can deal with them. This one is from Tema. Bernard, these videos are from Tema Community 1. He actually sent the videos. Oninku Primary. Oninku Primary. Site 18. Oninku Primary School Park, where traders were sent during COVID. Since lifting of restrictions, they have refused to move, creating a nuisance to residents as it is close to a residential area. It affects teaching and learning and poses a security threat as residents are now frequently attacked. I'm showing this actually from there. With the I know you love Tema. Tema, the port city, is fast deteriorating. So I don't know if you have the background to this.
It has not come to my attention.
It doesn't come to your attention. Okay. So the background is that people were sent to a particular place temporarily, and they've taken over the place and they've made it into a market. Oninku, Site 18, Community 1. Okay. And basically they feel like nothing is happening. They think you should come in. Then there are 2 comments around the Pambros area, which are related, right? In that there's also a comment about a cement factory in a Ramsar site. I don't know if these things have come to your attention.
Yeah, on the issue of the cement factory, I think that if I'm not mistaken, there's a court issue around it and all that. But you see, Bernard, to cut all this thing long and short, it's getting to a point where people are directing to me Henry Quartey. Henry Quartey. Me, and then we created the awareness. I think that and going quiet. I was hoping to hear society come along and say, Henry, we want to work with you. Henry, we want to get on board so that I don't have to wake up in the morning and I have 1,000 messages on my phone, people having taken pictures and say there is rubbish here. So you are a concerned citizen. What are you doing in support of the exercise? And I think we have to approach this from the point of like the fight against galamsey. Let's all get involved. Corporate bodies came, I had cocktail meetings and all that with them. AGI, everybody came. So I think that I want to make the clarion call again. I am one person. I will not be deterred by these things. Yes, there are some, saboteurs around. But you see, those don't deter me. Rather, what should encourage me, and the kind of encouragement I need. For instance, media, you've reported all the things I have done. But can I make a passionate appeal to say, look, all media houses, before you even say good morning, whether it's a crawler or it's a small jingle, to draw the attention of the average Ghanaian that, look, indiscipline cannot be tolerated anymore in this region.
Do you feel civil society left you on your own in your toughest moment?
They didn't leave me, but again, they were the silent admirers. But I think we've gone past being a silent admirer. We are getting to a situation where all must get on board.
So give me an example of what you expect, because you had many stakeholders. I know that you worked with all MPs from the region. So at some point, NDC MPs were all on your side, from the region in particular. Traditional rulers, you had spoken to most of them. Media, obviously. Then there are civil society groups, AGI and co. So are you saying that at least between November and now, when you were off the radar, you were expecting to hear some endorsement, some support, some... Explain what you are trying to say.
Institutions, and I said, look, can we have a Friday where you tell your staff that, look, Operation Clean Your Frontage. Can we see people openly going out to clean in support of Henry Quartey, rather than sending me a picture to say there's a rubbish here? Can civil service say, okay, every Friday, 1 hour, this is what we are doing? GPRT, because I engage all of them. GPRT can say, look, truck drivers, make sure that any passenger who jumps onto your car do not litter. So these are the things that when they begin to do it, it helps. Other than that, you become what Nana Kumia would say, the commando. So if you are not there, then all systems break. But I want to see a system working that the Henry Quartey doing everything. And I've laid the foundation. So today, let me make that passionate call again to the good people of this region. I cannot do it alone. But I need everybody on board, just as behind the scenes. Can we have, I don't want to mention a particular church, they go to church on a Sunday and say, oh, today all our branches, wherever you find yourself in the region, go clean.
I understand what you're saying.
No preaching.
I understand what you're saying,
clean.
but if something like Operation Clean Your Frontage,
yes,
we can make it a law. I think you're saying
the laws are there.
You're saying let's voluntarily encourage ourselves to do it. But we've given you the power. You can enforce it.
I want to make City the ambassadors for you. You know why I'm saying that? When we were about commencing the issue on the abuse of the use of sirens, was it not City? And how did it go? Perfect. Because you just didn't report, but you were on the ground and you were doing it. I need something like that. I need something like that, where the media houses all come on board and say, look, now we are the city watchmen. We're doing this with Henry Quartey. So we'll come to your place, for instance, if it's Henry Quartey Limited, we say, oh, this is what we have seen today. All cameras will go there. Okay, what are the fines? Assembly, find them. It will be like a revolution.
So collaboration more than one-man show.
Absolutely.
But I get that. But what about enforcement more than encouragement? Because there's a view that people everywhere are bad. So until you enforce it, a law without enforcement is just an advice. So yes, Church of Pentecost can say, this week we are going to do cleanup. But we can't hope that all must say, Friday, clean your frontage. If you don't do it, you can't open your shop. When I was in Nigeria, there were days between 9 and 12, no shop opens. No. We don't go anywhere. We are cleaning. So I'm not sure if you are saying that that can't work here.
It can work.
So why don't you do it?
It can work. But you see, we started that.
Yeah.
And then what happened to the enforcement bits?
Nyebola.
Wagbola.
Nyebola, you slow down.
But you see, that is where the issue is. People, apart from some party people who were sabotaging, and I repeat, apart from some party people who were sabotaging the work, you realize that at some stage, the kind of push that you need is not from government. And I'll say this clearly. Mr. President in the office of the president has never at any point in time told me to stop what I'm doing. Okay? They have never said that, oh, this is going to cost us votes. But some people who, for their own personal interest, think that, hey, this one, Henry is doing it too much. Yes.
So how were they sabotaging you? Were they choking you to the president?
No.
Or they were telling people not to take part?
Have you seen Farisco, for instance?
Farisco traffic lights.
At some stage, yes, with the work that we did, and a former member of parliament, Honorable Ahmed Arthur, he had to stand in the sun. And it was so beautiful that from Circle to UTC, you could do 5 minutes. What happened? Some party people went into
when you were trying to clear the traders on the pavement.
Yes. So when it happens this way, then it's like you versus the people. And
some party people.
Oh, yes.
But when you were doing the engagement, you mentioned all the people engaged. Did you engage the party?
But you saw what I did from the beginning. Before we commenced the exercise, minority, majority parliamentary candidate group, Council of Elders, in fact, the NDC regional party, MPP regional party, we were all there and we took the decision. The Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaws were carefully scrutinized by both sides of the political divide or representation in Parliament. But you know what, Bernard? In all these things, we don't have to complain anymore. I said I am back, and please read my lips. I don't care what happens, respectfully. This will not take NPP to opposition. We are going to start and we shall do it. Tough.
So the concern from the party people was that this was going to lose them votes.
Well, I'm sorry, but the question is that something happened on the motorway last week. Some people were knocked down by a car and they died. I think there was an accident. Where in this world, Bernard, would you find Trotro station on the motorway? Tell me, somebody. Trotro station on the motorway? That is why it's called the So may their souls rest in peace, and our condolences to the bereaved families. But then, now that they are no more, would they be able to vote on that day? Prevention, they say, is better than cure. So we are going to start with billboards. And Bernard, say I said so. We commissioned Mr. Dazi of the Advertising Association. They've done an extensive work over the last 15 months. And I'm saying that I will engage them in the next 2 months and will send signals around. We will remove every unauthorized billboard. Nobody should come to me and say, me a party. No, nobody. Because I won't even listen.
Mr. Darcy sent me a message actually. He says, Bernard, we spent time and resources to train all planning officers, engineers and presiding members in all 29 metropolitan municipal and district assemblies in 2021 on the standards and regulations for outdoor advertising using specifications by Ghana Standards Authority. Some of the assemblies started enforcing to remove signs in the medians which is prohibited by the standards and regulation and for which the assemblies have been given permits. And he wrote to stop them. But Bernard, as I write this, the situation has worsened.
Oh yes, I know.
So that's another. So almost everything has reversed. Almost everything you've done.
On the issue of the billboards, we didn't even, because he went, they report. That we will take them for, if people care to know, it's not that. We are back. We are going to look at it, but we'll do it in the more...
So I'm getting the sense that you're coming back, you're going to use a different approach, in a sense that on the Ramsar issue, you mentioned the Lands Ministry.
Yes.
On Abobloshi, you mentioned the Transport Ministry. So
just by the flanks.
To and to legitimize your
not
style?
Necessarily.
Not that?
Some of the exercises, RESEC has a mandate to go in for it.
Like which one?
Some will need an interministerial approach. You see, for instance, I've just heard that, this is just by the way, there is a land dispute case between two contractors along the motorway, and I've had intel that tomorrow they intend to bring land gas there. We don't need...
Both sides?
We don't need any ministry with the greatest of respect.
So for that one, it's in your remit.
And I want to sound the warning, because tomorrow we'll hold a press conference, and we will restrict movement on that site until further notice. If they want any clarity on the rulings by the courts, they should go there. Tomorrow we'll hold an emergency RESEC meeting, and we'll deploy there. Nobody is going to go down to further notice, both companies, until they go to court and settle the matter. We cannot have a situation, this indiscipline in this country, where one company thinks I can send land gas, another one sends people there. Enough is enough. I've been following this thing for the past 6-7 months, and I think that it's gotten to a place where Regional Security Council will take a decision tomorrow. And when we take that decision, we'll take over the place.
But for something like Abose Okai, can you go alone?
Abose Okai should be interministerial, because they are under trade. A lot of consultations and stakeholder engagements will have to be done. But I'm saying that those that require interministerial intervention will do so.
There's a view that Bosokai, they vote MPP. That's why we've not done it. That if you go to Old Fadama Onion Market, they are not MPP voters.
No, but I clearly no. Issue of Abotoka is completely different from Agbogloshi. Agbogloshi were able to move them because during President Kufuor's time, they had built a place that has been waiting for them for 20 years.
Ajen Kotoku?
Yes.
Okay.
It had a school, it had a police station, it had a fire station, complete package. Now, you cannot move people from Aboso currently as we speak without giving them a better alternative, an enabling environment to do business. And that's a huge investment. We have already applied to lands, and they are in the processes of releasing the land. You need an investor to go and look at it and build something fit for purpose. So the movement of Agbasokai cannot be like this. It could take like 4 or 5 years. It's a systematic process. So we cannot compare the two. And it's not about votes. If you watch what we've been doing so far, we don't do it because of votes. No, not at all.
We'll take a break. We're still talking to Henry Quartey on his drive to make Accra in the southern part of the country. So how far are we from that? We'll take more of your questions as well. Stay with us.
Tell me what makes it choco hot.
Mixy choco, Johnny hot. Coco womo, Johnny hot.
I can't this way.
This is no.
What?
Manji school for Nisiko. They are the future generation. And now 5 guys will say, Omunina, Jomo Wallet, and Joe Bieska. But Johnny Cook.
What? I don't know how. Come on, you're trying to pull. You're trying to hot. This is mixy choco and I got it. Tell me what's back why.
Some things are best taken hot, like delicious creamy mixing.
Grammy and the miniscal.
Master, with all due respect, and now I'm
Hey, Sana.
Mixy Choco now in a new pack with a great new taste. Mixy Choco, Mixy Coffee, Channel Hot. This advert is FDA approved.
Shell, we give you extra so you can go further.
Welcome back. This is still the point of view. We're live with Henry Quartey. A number of your comments as well. Regional Minister, we call it the return of Henry Quartey. He says he was away for 2.5 weeks. We feel he was away for much longer. We actually felt he wanted to even resign at some point. But was that ever considered?
Not at all. Not at all, Bernard. I hear people say that, but let me say emphatically that no, that has not come up.
It didn't come up at all.
No, but those who have resigned, there's a process. There's a president who appoints you.
Were you thinking about it?
Not at all. No. No.
I'm asking because even though you're saying the president was for you, you know, the way you said civil society did not support you, some people felt that your bosses, president, vice, and other ministers could have publicly endorsed what you're doing to say.
The president did that at ECFM. Yes, he did that.
I probably didn't listen.
Oh, he did it.
What did he say?
The president, during his interview with Bam Sefaka, he said it.
What
and everybody.
He could have also sent a warning to people in the party to stop choking you, and that he will not listen. To publicly let them know that what you're doing is what he wants to do.
But clearly, everybody knew that the president was behind what I was doing. The office of the president was behind. The president has got many children, over 4,000 positions. He cannot single him.
But your approach is different. And you are mind you, he made a very big promise that he will make Accra the cleanest city.
It is going to work.
It's not even the cleanest city in Ghana. In fact, it's not even the cleanest city in southern Ghana.
We'll get there.
Seriously?
We'll get there. Bernard, I want to make City the ambassadors of this program.
Oh, we've been doing indisciplined things for the past 6 years.
No, but let's do the Greater Accra Must Work thing properly. I think I have to do a media engagement this time, maybe sometime next week, and bring all the editors on board so that you take it upon yourself.
So the media, you're saying the kind of thing you want to do will not be effective without concerted media pressure?
Absolutely.
Why? Is it the buy-in? Is it the education? What angle is media bringing?
You see, media is a very powerful tool. You know, sometimes when you even take somebody a picture and he's doing something, you say, I don't know, that kind of stuff. We have gone past the awareness and education. Now it is the action bit. And I keep saying that if we use force, when we are not there, they will do it. But if there's media pressure and people begin to think that, hey, this is what I have to do as a civic responsibility, I am sure that that behavioral and attitudinal change will come.
Let me read a few more comments. Good evening, Bernard. Please, we are pleading with Honorable Minister not to be diplomatic about the issues that you are raising. He is the change Ghana needs. Ghana needs him more than his political party. And not appear Sam. This is the man who sent the comment from Tama. Bernard, great program. I'm watching. From Hacho. Ben, the MC for Amasaman area is doing well and must be commended. He is a very no-nonsense guy, and we need more of his type. So, Niajite is saying that Diamond Ashon, Teshin, Bernard, tell Honorable Henry Quartey, we, the citizens of Accra, are proud of him. He is doing a good job, and we are solely behind him. May God bless him, give him long life and good health, and give him the strength to do more for Accra and Mother Ghana. More comments. Bernard, what's the position of the law when it comes to event posters? Churches and event organizers, and even political parties put out notices and billboards posting all manner of stuff. But when the event is over, people never see anything to remove their notices, thereby creating more nuisance. Is this within his remit as well? This is Bernard Asari from Latvia Koshi. Some of your friends, in both NDC and MP, when they were doing their regional and national things, they just littered the whole place with.
Let me do a quick reaction to that.
Yeah.
During our national conference at the Accra Sports Stadium, the president himself was posters in and around the stadium. I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah.
And when he got to the NDC stand, I think that the communication did not come early. So they littered the entire stadium.
That's when you were arresting.
No, they littered the entire stadium, but then after the exercise, I called their handlers. And the beauty of it is, Henry, give us 24 hours. Indeed, I went to the stadium area, and trust me, within that 24 hours, I don't want to mention this, but the big guys themselves came and made sure that they had removed all the posters from the Accra Sports Stadium area. But that Sunday morning, if you had driven past the stadium, it was a complete mess. But when I called them, they said, oh, Henry, you are right, we'll do this. Either two, they will do this and tell you where Zoom Lion will be coming to clean it. You see the difference? So we are getting there. But some of these things, you don't always have to come on air and say, I've told them to remove this and that. Then it's be like, you know what I mean? I
see. Yeah. Bernard, ask Mr. Quartey about the delayed salaries of Operation Clean Your Frontage Task Force. This one looks like an insider job.
So it's good that this thing has come up. First of all, there is some miscommunication out there about the salaries of Operation Clean Your Frontage. Okay. Never at any point in time where they promise social security, maternity, and all that. Right. These are casual workers. Right. And so the idea was that every 6 months their tenure is renewed. Now, it is like the YEA project. It's 1 month or 2 months in arrears. Currently, as we speak, they have been paid up to November ending, and December and January are on its way. So this is not too much of a big deal. And you see, the issue too here is that most of them are not going to work. Most of them do not go to work these days. They are keeping their uniforms, they don't go to work, and they still want to be paid. So I've issued directives. You start hearing from us, we'll start sacking some of them and we'll replace them.
Are the MCs on board? I'm hearing some noises within AMA. Some people have sent me comments about disquiet within the assembly. I don't know if where you sit as regional minister, your eye is in the, because these are the people you work with. So is it all well and good within the key assemblies that you work with?
Your question is a bit intertwined.
Yes,
How
because
you see, do you mean when you say is it all well? We are talking about enforcing the bylaws in the region where the assemblies have got a mandate to do same. And then myself as the chairman of RESEC and then president's representative my mandate is to supervise the implementation of government policies. Are you talking about failure in terms of policies? We are talking about a day-to-day running of the affairs.
We are picking intelligence in that some of the assemblies, like even the AMA itself, there is disquiet, and that some people you know, the way this is for me, the main thrust of the question is you need assembly members and mayors to be working with you.
Yes.
If there's unrest or division or fight, that doesn't inure to what you are trying to achieve. So my question is a general question about the main assemblies that you work with.
Oh, to the best of my knowledge, look, I have enjoyed a very good working relationship with assembly members, undoubtedly. I mean, wherever I go, they don't even make it politics. Any assembly that I go, I enjoy a very healthy working relationship with them. That's what I'm saying, that if it's I have to look, which is going to link to me, then it hasn't really come to my attention.
Do you assess the performance of the assemblies to know if they are doing well? Because there's Tema, there's Accra, there's Lekma, there's La Revenue, mobilization. Because you are like their boss, right? Do you have any scale of measurements?
That is done by the local government. So it's the work of.
But you did a lot of work with you and Dambuchi and Obi work a lot together.
Yes,
so they will consult you.
The assemblies, actually, the assessment and all that are done by the local government. You see what I mean?
Some people thought that if the government or the president endorsed the Henry Quartey approach, he should have been promoted to local government minister.
Oh, no.
So that we can replicate it on the national scale.
Let's be careful about these things. All the fingers are not equal. Together, you call them the hand. But you see, if you're not telling me that I should be promoted to local government minister, is that to suggest that Dambuchi is not doing this work?
They say he will be promoted higher.
Oh, no. You see, the president is the coach and the captain. He has a formula. So the fact that Ronaldo is a solid player, the coach can decide to say, Ronaldo, sit for a while. Ronaldo, instead of playing a striking role, I want you to play a defensive role. Because the president has a formula. And the formula is only known to the president. He is the commander-in-chief. He is the captain. He has a formula.
There's a final view that the first 2 years of this administration was your best chance. Because from this time to 2024, with elections on the horizon, it's going to be much tougher. What's your commitment to Ghanaians that, in spite of the looming elections and the way the government is perceived, economy is not going well, people are not happy, you are...
Well, we will continue, and I still need all and sundry to come on board and work with me, more especially the media, and also civil society and all that.
This is a coded answer.
Oh, very nice.
I see. So, anyway, you will leave it there, because people think that because elections are coming, so Charlie, some way.
We'll do our best. We've laid the foundation already, so it's about continuing from where we left off.
I'm sure you'll come back, and City will support you. We've been supporting throughout. In fact, that's why we asked that you should come back. So it's good that you've come back.
So a warning to the two companies that intend to use land gas to settle their disputes.
On Thursday.
Yes, tomorrow they intend doing it. And we are saying that by tomorrow by this time, RESEC will take a decision. And our decision will be straight to the point. None of the companies will be allowed to go to site. If they think that they need clarification, they should go to court and get the court to give them interpretation of the judgment.
No buga buga.
We will not sit for anybody to go to site with... We are not interested in land. We are interested in the peace and security of the good people of Greater Accra. And I'm saying that by tomorrow evening, anybody, when we take the decision, anybody we find there, will take on their bosses themselves, both parties.
And Quartey is the MP for Ayawaso Central, and he's also the Greater Accra Regional Minister. He says he's back. He's charged the battery. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching.
Billboard be a telephone. Billboards.
They know themselves. So
nobody should call me.
You are going to deal with billboards people. Francis Darcy is grinning from ear to ear. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye.